Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. You know, it still astonishes me that most people in crypto still have no idea that XRP has been substantially outperforming most of the crypto market for literally 3 months now. The average person has no idea. And I'm going to share with you perspective from multiple chart analysts in this video, including one who says that XRP looks like it's flashing a buy signal right now, and there's expectation from tons of analysts that I follow that we really are not going to be sitting around here much longer. And I know that we've technically been saying that for, a good half a year now, but the market has been consolidating, and that's another thing that I want to talk about. The market cannot and will not continue to move sideways forever. And so then there's this question of, have we even experienced true euphoria this market cycle? And how long is this market cycle actually going to go? Like, when are we going to see a peak? And these are all topics that I want to broach in this very latest Moon Lambo Hot Jam. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this video, it is 11:45 p.m. on Central Time on Saturday, September 14th, 2024. XRP just a little shy of 59 cents, so still outperforming even amongst the top 10. Bitcoin at $60,236. And let's just jump into this topic here, because the idea that we're not going to see some sort of euphoric blow-off top this market cycle, it's just not going to happen this time, I find that highly improbable. I do acknowledge it's possible that for the first time in history, we could just not have one, because sometimes the improbable happens, and we all understand that, right? But do you think the improbable is going to happen this time, right here, right now, considering all of the macro factors? I'm a bit skeptical of that. And so there was this post shared by Stock Money Lizards. He shared this with his 134,700 followers on X, Bitcoin USD price chart, and he's showing historic patterns. And he wrote the following, #Bitcoin. A lot of traders and investors are burning money in a phase where actually not much happens. Most do so because they do not know Bitcoin's market cycle phases, or think this time is different. By the way, folks, I'll just pause and note, those are famous last words. Anytime you hear that, be skeptical, right? Then he says, instead, they are buying the tops and selling the lows. There is, indeed, a lot of noise. Cycles usually follow a distinct pattern that also makes a lot of sense from a neutral investor perspective. And so again, he's talking about market cycles here. And for those of you looking at the screen, you can see what he's referencing here, different phases of a cycle, and he's color-coded them to make it easy to comprehend exactly what he's talking about. So he's got red, blue, orange, and green, and he describes what each phase of these cycles are. So red, he describes as the bear market. He says usually starts at the end of the parabolic run and is necessary phase after strongly overbought market condition. And folks, that's always been the case historically. You have this blow-off top, crazy euphoria, prices higher than they reasonably should be, and the market corrects for that. Always. And you have this precipitous drop to the downside. And we haven't had that, though. We've been moving sideways. If we're in a bear market now, then you tell me, why haven't we seen this drop? We're just not going to for the first time ever? Hard to believe. So anyway, then he says the next part of the cycle here is the blue part. And he says, following the first, mainly technical reversal, 200 to 300%. And then there's orange, the around halving correction. This phase is variable and is considered a distribution / reaccumulation phase before the last leg up, which is the green part. He says, green part, of course, usually the strongest and much more potent than the first ramp up. We believe we are in the last weeks of the orange correction phase. And you can see where, if you're looking at the screen anyway, where I'm circling here, that's where we are right now. He's saying that's the orange phase that we're in right now. It is reaccumulation. And if you look at the previous market cycle here, you can see partly in 2019 and beginning part of 2020, that's what it was, is kind of trending downwards. It was reaccumulation. And then you have the most fun part, the green part. We haven't gotten there yet. And so he is saying that we're pretty close right now. Now, you might be wondering, well, why is it that we've been reaccumulating? If that's what it is, if we're in reaccumulation, we are going to see that blow-off top, and we are going to see alts go, and we are going to see XRP hit a new all-time high in enterprise discovery. If that's going to happen, you might be asking, why is it that it's taking so damn long? Why is it taking longer than many analysts would have necessarily expected? Which I think is a great question. And XRP community member Frecky speculates on this and shares some additional information, which is why I want to highlight this. Now, Frecky has been in crypto since 2011. He was here before pretty much everybody that I know. Okay, and he also happens to have a finance career. He actually works in finance, and so he's well versed on market cycles and just all sorts of stuff. And he's sharing some knowledge here. And so check this out. He said, on the topic of euphoria. So, question: do you think that we had euphoria earlier this year? Now, at the time when there was market excitement, I said, I don't know that we should call this euphoria. Some are calling it euphoria, but I said, look, I know I'm not a chart guy, I'm just a dude, but I am entitled to my opinion. I'm just a dude on the internet. This does not look like euphoria like I had seen at the peak of previous market cycles. And there are tons of reasons that I had at the time, including, even if you just looked at the crypto fear and greed index, my God, when people are saying, some were saying we were in euphoria, I'm like, guys, we haven't even hit extreme greed yet. I remember reporting on that in videos and showing you, guys, this doesn't look like it. And where's all the retail participants? And where's the alts? Where is it all? Right? I was like, this doesn't look like euphoria. Even the sentiment on X, while admittedly there was some excitement earlier in the year, should it reasonably be classified as euphoria? And my stance back then was no, and that's still my stance. And Frecky, he seems to share that perspective. And so he wrote, it's not even close to euphoria. Observing Twitter/X. Most people are walking down their altcoin prices far more than they should, but that is partly fear/PTSD. Somewhat more accumulation since prices have been low for quite a while in majority of alts. Right. Accumulation. That is exactly correct. And then he wrote normal emotion #crypto. And so I had a question for him. I said, was early 2024 euphoria or just notable excitement of market participants? And he did respond to me. Frecky said, excitement, but no new retail. Really just recycled capital into memes/Solana. Outside of brokerage ETFs, which is new capital, but also a new player. Also why Bitcoin, in my opinion, broke out early. Now, folks, that's an interesting topic, and I had brought that up. I haven't talked about it in probably many, many, many months, but earlier this year, I brought it up because there are some that had speculated on it and hadn't thought about it in a while, but Frecky brought it up here, so I thought I'd share it with you. So why are we in this very long reaccumulation phase? If things are cyclical and if it really is global liquidity that is cyclical, which drives the prices, well, couldn't that be possibly an explanation here, as Frecky cites? I think it's pretty reasonable speculation that we broke out sooner. Bitcoin led the way, and we broke out sooner as an asset class than we otherwise would have because of that particular excitement. It's certainly possible. It's certainly plausible at a minimum. And so, if indeed that is the case, that could explain why we're in this reaccumulation phase or accumulation phase, whatever you want to call it. If that's the case, well, then still, if the 4-year cycle is doing what it's doing, then the best still would be yet ahead, right? And so I find it to be an interesting concept. Again, I personally think it's plausible. You guys can tell me what you think in the comment section below. But he then says, I would say euphoria is when we start to see alts, not all, but many, break out of previous all-time highs. Yeah, so I think that's fair. We didn't see it earlier this year. I know some classify it as euphoria. We're all entitled to our opinions, but it just doesn't look like anything that I had previously seen called euphoria. And so if we are still in 4-year cycles here, and I don't think it's because of the halving, well, then the best is yet ahead, and alts, including XRP, absolutely are going to break to the upside, which is why I thought I'd start with this before getting into the XRP specific stuff, but sit tight because I've got plenty specifically about XRP for you. Just give me a minute here. I want to do this in a particular order. There's also this post from Seth Golden. Seth Golden is a hedge fund consultant and chief market strategist at Pennant Group. And he was talking about the S&P 500. And this should be interesting to you because the S&P 500, of course, moves in tandem with the crypto asset class. I mean, stocks in general do, right? And we know, and I've been highlighting it quite a bit, September, a historically terrible month for stocks and historically terrible month for Bitcoin specifically. Now, that doesn't mean that we absolutely have to end with a red month for the stock market or even Bitcoin for September. It's just that if you're just playing the odds, then you'd say, yeah, it's probably going to be the case that we'll be down for September, but it's not a foregone conclusion. And in fact, something here is a little bit different. And it's just famous last words, this time is different. But usually when people say this time is different, they're not talking necessarily about individual little parameters. What they mean is on the whole, there's some sort of disastrously, or maybe it's not even disaster, but a positive thing that's just way out of line with what you would expect. So instead of, for instance, you can think about the end of a cycle. Like when Bitcoin last market cycle hit close to $70,000, and of course the typical lemming retail speculators got wrong-footed because they thought it was just going to keep going. That would have been different if it kept going, right? It would have been different. And it would have been different if we didn't find that bottom at like $15,000 or $16,000 for Bitcoin in the beginning of 2023. That would have been different, right? And so what we're talking about when people say this time is different, they're typically talking about like cyclically what happens within market cycles, but it's always been the case that individual parameters can look a little bit off and a little bit different, right? That's always been the case. It still doesn't fit in with what most people think of when they hear the phrase "this time is different," right? But something is a little bit different as it pertains to the S&P 500. And so Seth Golden wrote, fun fact, and this is interesting. S&P 500 was down 4.4% last week. S&P 500 is up plus 4% this week. Since 1957, the S&P 500, this has never happened in the month of September. Bad weeks, yes, but down then up like this? Never. And yes, there is a probability to discuss based on this occurrence for the remainder September monthly return. So it's not a foregone conclusion that just because almost always September is horrendous, it doesn't mean it absolutely will be. And if that is indeed the case, and given that the asset classes move in tandem, crypto and the stock market, what might that mean for Bitcoin? Well, take a look at this from Chart Analyst Jelly. Hashtag Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently on track to close September in the green. It has only managed to actually close green thrice before, in 2015, 2016, and 2023. All of which led to a green October, November, and December as well. And so you can see the chart here, it goes actually back to the year 2013, and that is indeed correct. You know, there are only literally, as he cited here, 3 months where it ended in the green. Every other year was red. But in those years where you had a green September, the next 3 months after that were all green. And it makes you wonder if we could see some sort of repeat of that. Because I'm telling you, if that happens, my God, we're going to have a really happy Q4 if that's indeed the case. If this really is finally going to be the start of the euphoria phase of the market cycle, my God. It's going to be so life-changing for so many people out there listening right this very second. I know that's the case if, indeed, we are going to see that type of dramatic move to the upside in Q4. And some think it might, bleed into Q1, and if so, okay, fine. But, the fact that we've seen what we've seen the last couple of weeks, I don't think that's some sort of indication that something is horrendously wrong here. I also shared this post in the morning. I wrote, "Oh, hello there, XRP. I see you go up while Bitcoin go down." And I shared this screen grab from the time. And I said morning. It was actually the afternoon, 1:27 p.m. But there are a couple responses that I thought I'd share with you here. There is one from XRP Traveler who wrote to me, and he said, "Every time XRP starts to go up, Bitcoin starts dumping, causing the entire market to fall. Then XRP will true as well. It happens every time." And so upon reading that, I thought, okay, well, this is the type of sentiment that you'd expect because he's frankly right. Like historically, that is pretty much what has happened. So you can't really blame him for that. And by the way, XRP Traveler, for listening, hello, and thank you very much for your support. He let me know in a separate post that he'd been listening for like half a decade. By the way, December, it'll be 6 years I've been running this channel. So he's been here almost the whole time. So thank you very much for the support and taking the time to respond here. I do appreciate it very much. And so I don't blame him at all for having that particular response, but I was kind of curious because I know, and I'm sure that most of you are aware, that XRP's been outperforming the last few months. It just has. And so I responded to him and I wrote, "Look at the XRP BTC pair over the last 3 months. You'll find XRP outperforming. What you stated has been true for years, but recently it's simply not the case." And so then he responded to me and he said, "Let's hope it continues that way, but if I were betting on it, I would bet Bitcoin continues to drop until XRP starts to drop. Then Bitcoin regains the losses from the dump and XRP will just trade sideways. I hope I'm wrong, as I'm an XRP hodler. And so I wrote back and I said, okay, fair enough. So you don't think XRP has found a bottom against Bitcoin. Do you think XRP will ever bottom against Bitcoin? So I was just trying to see if he just kind of share some additional thoughts and just say some more stuff. And he said, now that the suit is over, unless there is another one being cooked up, yes, I hope that the bottom isn't against Bitcoin, but to be fair, I'm not a financial advisor, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very bad idea. Great response there. Where'd you get that line? Where'd you get that, XRP traveler? And so I get the sentiment, and I do see this pretty broadly within the XRP community. Totally understand why and sympathize, because like our community has been beaten down. Let's be real. It's just, Bitcoin goes down, XRP goes down more. That's at least not against the dollar. It's been trending up for the last couple of years, but against Bitcoin, yeah, until 3 months ago. Now, not so much. XRP has absolutely been outperforming. So, given that that's the case, isn't it reasonable? Don't you think? Like, isn't it reasonable to suppose that what's most probable, perhaps, is that continue? If you just had to guess for fun, I know none of us know for sure, but wouldn't that be pretty reasonable? Given we've seen uncharacteristic XRP behavior for 3 months now. I mean, that would be my guess, just for fun. I mean, I could be wrong, but that would be certainly my suspicion. I just don't think it's going to stay like this forever. And also, my fellow XRP YouTuber, Crypto Insight UK, he responded to me and he said, "We are so close right now, sir." And he shared this separate post, XRP priced against Bitcoin. And he wrote, and this is from this morning, he said, at the time anyway, 1 day, 7 hours to gain 2.2% against Bitcoin. So, of course, he's talking about the weekly close. And you can see, he labeled, for those who look at the screen, he said, "This is the close that we want." And XRP has been gaining. I mean, here, in fact, I pulled this up. This is showing the last 6 months of price action for XRP price against Bitcoin. And where I'm circling right here, this is the bottom for this market cycle, June 7th, 2024. It's just been trending up. And fine, I acknowledge maybe we do get another low. I'm just kind of skeptical of that because of the amount of strength that XRP is showing. Because normally when you get a new low, if we haven't hit the bottom, XRP doesn't show this kind of strength. It doesn't historically, but it is. So that's why I'm saying if I had to guess just for fun, and I admit I don't know, yeah, I would think, yeah, that was probably it. I think that's a pretty reasonable guess. And if it's not, fine, the market still finds a bottom. But take a look at this too. This is from chart analyst Dr. Magic. It's an XRP USD price chart. And he's citing OBV, which is on balance volume. And he wrote, OBV and XRP is pushing higher again while price is heading into resistance. Note that in this almost 1.5 year sideways price action, OBV has been making higher highs and higher lows. Clear sign of a reaccumulation phase. Big fellas are buying big time. And so isn't this always how it goes? Of course. During periods like this, it's not the typical living retail speculators, by and large, that are buying. I mean, I'm not saying there are none, but it's the people that understand you buy before there's excitement about the asset in a market cycle. Before. And so as he's citing here, yeah, it looks like the big fellas, they have been doing that for a long time. A very long time. And so you can see the way that this is trending, and this is just one more metric that you can look at. And so this is why he is very optimistic that, yeah, you're going to see a major blast off to the upside, probably sooner than later. And here's a post from XRP chart analyst Crypto Michael. And on September 2nd, he tweeted, "It's going to be an exciting month for XRP." Now, that was an interesting and bold time to do that, to state something like that. I know he didn't explicitly state up, but knowing that September is historically pretty bad, and then a few days later we had a pretty notable drop to the downside, he's standing by what he's saying, though. So he reposted that just this morning, and he said, "I'm expecting the XRP 7-year pennant breakout within weeks. We are so close." And so, in theory, that means, I guess, it could happen in September, but even if it's, even if you're talking about October, if what he's roughly thinking is going to line up, if that does occur, we are close. Now, I know that there is no chart analyst who can consistently, reliably predict time, but what I am seeing from a ton of different chart analysts is this general expectation that, look, guys, it can't keep going sideways. If you look at the symmetrical triangle, we're reaching the apex. We're going to be there sooner than later. It literally can't stay there forever. Something's going to happen. It's going to break either to the upside or the downside. That I consistently see. So whether he's right about it being a few weeks or not, if it has to go a little further, still that idea that we are for sure, I mean, I say for sure, the analysts are highly convinced that this is probable anyway. We really are that close. And then we also had this post from Chart Analyst Coins Kid, XRP USD chart on your screen here, and he said, since the blow-off top January 2018 for XRP, we have only seen 2 buy signals for XRP on the 5-day time frame for what he's calling the Coins Kid ribbon. We have just printed a third one on the ribbon. The last 2 led to a pump for XRP. Will this time be any different? Is this the breakout moment for XRP? Again, I keep seeing these types of posts from XRP chart analysts. Having been in this space for almost 7 years, I don't normally see these types of posts from a ton of different analysts that I follow at basically the same time, saying more or less the same thing with the same general expectations. That is not normally what is happening here. Most of the time, when I've been covering price action, which again I've been doing on this YouTube channel, it'll be 6 years in December. It's mostly sideways and downward price. Like, that's just what it is. With always, expectations and hopes that at some point when we get back into a bull market, it goes to the upside. But you don't see it for most of the time period that I've been, you don't see this. That's why this all stands out to me so much. And we had this post also from Chart Analyst Credible Crypto I want to share with you. Now, he's talking about HBAR. And I haven't talked about HBAR in a while, but I know that a lot of you out there hold HBAR. It's one of my largest individual holdings, and I understand why people are attracted to it. It's because it has actual utility, which is fairly rare, unfortunately, in the world of crypto, but HBAR certainly has it. And so he was saying some general stuff, which led to another topic that I wanted to talk about, which I promised at the outset of the video. But here's what he said specifically about HBAR. And as I'm reading this, just when you're think about what he's saying specifically about HBAR, and maybe what reasonable expectations are. People are feeling beaten down. Like HBAR holders, they're feeling beaten down, and so are XRP holders. Like you're going to find this in any community with any coin that hasn't gone yet. It is not unique to XRP. And fine, you can argue that we've taken in the shorts a lot worse than other communities. Fair, because of the SEC nonsense and the nearly 7 years of consolidation. Fair, totally fair to bring that up. I'm just saying that you are going to find people being negative Nancy's when their coin's just moving sideways or down. Like, that's very normal. I'm just telling you, it's not unique to the XRP community, even if you want to say the degree to which we've had to endure it is greater. Okay, totally give you that. But it's still true regardless. And so here he wrote, haven't posted a chart on HBAR in a while because there isn't anything to update since my last video on it. At this stage, we are chilling inside a historical higher time frame accumulation zone. Wouldn't you know it? We're in an accumulation zone. The whole market is. Broadly speaking, right? Yes. Yeah, I understand. I acknowledge there have been a few coins that have been breaking out at various times, but the fact that XRP is doing what it's doing, my God, not only is it not surprising, at least the last 3 months, even though we haven't had our first major breakout yet, at least it's outperforming. Like, that's pretty awesome sauce as far as I'm concerned. And then he says, once we get some constructive price action to indicate we may be breaking out, I'll share. Until then, accumulate if you like HBAR, don't accumulate if you don't. To make it simple, if you like HBAR, you accumulate between 1 cent to 8 cents, and you sell later for a minimum of 10x plus once we break out and head to new all-time high. Everything else is noise. Okay, same concept for XRP, whatever the reasonable range would be, and you can decide that for yourself. So that means that you could buy and it could go down and then you're going to be in the red. Until we have an actual breakout because liquidity starts increasing and money just flows into crypto. That's just how it is. The first few years that I held XRP, I was down almost the entire time, or roughly at break even. And I wasn't surprised. I was actually expecting that because I understood it was an accumulation range within a bear market, especially in particular in 2018 and a lot of 2019. And now, fine, it hasn't hit a new all-time high yet for lots of reasons we've been discussing. But it shouldn't be surprising that I'm in the positive. My average buying price for XRP is 25 cents, but I was down on it for years. Just like with the coins that I bought more recently within the last, say year or two, a lot of them I'm actually down. But then I'm way up on tons of coins that I've been holding for almost 7 years. This shouldn't be surprising, which is why I always say when you buy, it's like what Frecky say. You just dollar cost average, and you let time do the heavy lifting. The market gets bigger. It's a bigger crypto pie. And if you had exposure earlier on and you were patient and you don't make stupid emotional decisions, you do have that opportunity as a regular person, just like I'm a regular person, to achieve life-changing wealth. And I'm just telling you, my entire crypto portfolio, even though it's not all in the green, not every coin, it's worth way more than what I put in because I've been in the market a long time. This is not rocket science. It's just most people are not sufficiently patient and they can't emotionally handle it. When it comes to investing, we are our own worst enemy. So somebody named Crosschain responded to Credible Crypto and said, question in good faith, am I mistaken or aren't you bearish for 2025? You got a projection for a bullish market Q1 and 2 of 2025? Credible Crypto did respond, and he said, I am. The image above isn't drawn to scale. Important to note, most alts will have their biggest runs close to or right after Bitcoin tops. And following that, we will be entering a major bear, in my opinion. By mid to late 2025, I suspect we will be well within the bear. Okay, so if he's right 1 year from now, there's going to be a bunch of sad pandas. But hopefully we won't be those sad pandas because, if we really have that blow off top, we'll have had our opportunity for life-changing wealth. But look at what he wrote here. Most alts will have their biggest runs close to or right after Bitcoin tops. Well, that sure as hell is what happened the last 2 market cycles for XRP. Bitcoin needs to go first. The fact that we haven't seen that shouldn't be surprising because Bitcoin hasn't done that yet. It hasn't had the crazy euphoric blow off top yet. Now, that post that I just shared with you was reposted by Frecky again. This is the guy I was sharing a couple posts from him earlier in the video. I've been in crypto since 2011, works in finance for a career. And so he reposted that and he said, yes, dollar cost average. Let Q4 and Q1 work for you. Again, most of you are not professional or even intermediate traders. I've been in this market since 2011 and capital markets much longer. You simply dollar cost average / buy red, meaning buy when market's down, and have patience. No one knows when the best days are. You just have to be in. Now, that is absolutely correct and intellectually honest. And this is the reason that I don't have a course to sell you, even if I wanted to become a chart analyst, which I don't because I find it terribly boring. I really do. And plus, I wouldn't change my investment strategy even if I did that. So I'm just like, what's the point? I wouldn't do that. I just want to have exposure and then let time pass, right? So that's why he says you dollar cost average, you have patience because you do not know which days are going to be the best ones. You don't. They're few and far between. You either have exposure when they come or you don't. When XRP finally has that move, either you have exposure or you don't. And that's why when I see some people say, well, XRP, it's the dino coin. I don't want you to miss this cycle. You shouldn't have it. And then if it starts to go, you'll have plenty of time to get back in. I'm sitting there like, no, you won't. No, you won't. I mean, even if you get in fairly quick, are you sure you want to risk that? Even if you magically are able to? Like this, timing markets and then thinking that you're smarter than like this, like the sum knowledge and the decision making of all global speculators. Like do you really think you're the one that's going to outsmart like all of the knowledge of all the speculators that cause prices to do what they do in the first place, to be positioned the way that they are in terms of rank market cap? I don't think I can do that. I know I can't. It's a fool's errand. Which is why, and this is somebody who has a career in finance. He's like, no, you dollar cost average in, and then you let time pass. It is that simple. This is why I don't have a course to sell you. I really don't. If my course would be, okay, buy whatever you want to buy, and then don't do anything. Now give me $100, or maybe I'll charge more. Maybe give me $1,000 for that. That's some sage wisdom right there. I have no course to sell you, and I'm not saying all courses are bad, but most courses are for the types that think that they can actually outperform the market by getting in and out of positions. But data consistently shows us, even if we're talking about the stock market, you can't. You cannot consistently outperform the market. Even if you get lucky 9 times in a row, all it takes is one bad one, and then you're like, oops, just lost a bunch, more than I gained. It's just, do you want to play that game and then deal with the stress? It's just, like, it's such an easy way to screw it up, which is why I always say you have exposure, you let time pass, that's good enough. And if you don't, like, this is the way I I handle the investment for myself. I don't have an expectation that I'm even going to sell everything for a profit. I don't need everything that I bought to be a winner. I hold 42 cryptocurrencies. Do you think that I'm expecting literally all of them to be profitable for me? No, I mean, maybe, but I doubt it. I really doubt it. I just need, since I brought exposure, X number of them to just pop on off. And being in the market as long as I have, yeah, it's working. Oh my God, I'll tell you what, a bunch of coins I bought in 2017, like Bitcoin and ETH and XRP and Chainlink and Cardano. Oh, look at all these Dino coins. But you know what? Like, they're worth a lot more than in 2017. And we're not even at the euphoria stage for this market cycle yet. This is the way to do it, in my opinion. So I'm just sharing with you. But all that to say, I'm sorry if that was too long-winded. I just wanted to share a bunch of thoughts with you. But I couldn't be more optimistic for the future as it pertains specifically to XRP. I am very glad that it is my largest individual crypto holding. And if it doesn't pop off, okay, too bad, so sad for me. I mean, I don't know for sure what's going to happen, but I wouldn't change it. I mean, I have the ability to change it. I'm not going to. I'm very happy that it's my largest individual holding. That bitch has been consolidating for almost 7 years and it's got legal clarity. If this market's going to go, my God. And if you look at all the metrics and historically what has happened when XRP has been in a position like this, especially in 2017, we know that it was face melt season next. So I'm going to be patient AF. Whatever it takes, I'm just going to sit here and hold him, but I think I'm going to get mine. And I think a lot of you out there listening are going to get yours, but it's up to you to make it happen. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.